Got us? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us. My name is Christy Shaw. I'm here with GBS Benefits. We work closely every year with your HR department and your benefits committee to come up with your benefit plan for each year, negotiate those costs. We think we've done a pretty good job this year. There's some great benefits. Couple changes, so we're going to talk about all of those. We do have all of the vendors, all of the different providers that are here. PEHP, EMI Health, Delta Dental, we've got Blomquist Hale, I'm missing somebody. Anybody you might have questions for, we are here. Of course, your HR team is here too. So we're going to go through what your benefits look like. Obviously talk about open enrollment, the benefits offered you as an employee of Box Elder County, and then next steps, what you need to do to make sure your elections are made in the system. So open enrollment is happening right now. You've been waiting all year for open enrollment. I know it. It's the most exciting time of year. What does open enrollment mean? Well, it's your annual opportunity to review all of your benefit options, make changes if you want to maybe move from one plan to another, or if you waived coverage on something last year, you want to take it this year. Now is the time to do it. All elections will go into effect for January 1, 2026. So if you are on the plan right now, your current coverage will stay until effect the end of the year, till the 31st of December. January 1 is where all the new coverages will go into effect. You're going to make those new elections using the UKG system, and the portal is actually open today, but you do have until November 21st to make elections. That's a really big window, so plenty of time to get those things done. As we go through the presentation, maybe you'll get some ideas, have it fresh in your mind, and go, hey, I'm going to go in and enroll right now. Great idea. Get it done so you don't have to worry about it later. The HR people aren't going to chase you down. You don't want Diane chasing you down to come in and make sure you make your elections. So go in and do those before the 21st of November. You are going to be locked into those benefits. Like I said, they run from January 1st through the end of December. You can make changes mid-year, but only if you experience what's called a qualified life event. And those are events that are set by the IRS. Think the biggies that can happen in your life. If you get married, divorce, maybe a death in your family, birth or adoption of a child, if you're covered on a spouse's plan and you lose that coverage and you need to pick up the coverage here, or loss or gain of Medicaid or CHIP coverage. These are all examples of when you can make changes to your plan here. Either come on the plan, change your elections, things like that. Okay? If you do have one of these qualified life events, you need to make sure you get with your Human Resources Department within 30 days of the date of that event to make those changes. If you go outside of that 30 days, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to make those changes. Sometimes the carriers will say, nope, you had your 30-day window and you missed it. So make sure you do it in a timely manner if you do need to make any kind of changes to your account. All right, so we're going to talk about your benefits. Couple changes to your plan. The Delta Dental is your new dental offering. Lots of enhancements to this. Benefits have actually gotten a little bit better, so we think you'll be happy with this. The short-term disability policy is moving to the Hartford. It's not a huge benefit, meaning not a lot of people take it, and Hartford is who does all of your other life insurance, voluntary life, things like that. So it's actually an easy transition to put STD with them as well. And then there's a ton of voluntary products: accident plan, critical illness, hospital indemnity, the cancer plan. Again, the prices came down on these. The benefits got a little bit better, and these are all through Sun Life. So we're going to go through all of these for you. If you have questions, again, all of the vendors are here in the hallway. We've all got swag. We've got some materials. You're welcome to anything you need. So just come and talk to us. So we are first going to start with the medical. Really, not a lot of changes to medical, so this should be pretty easy. We've got Rick here from PEHP. You've got two different plans to choose from: the traditional option, the ones with the flat copays, and then that high deductible health plan. So the two options you have right now. The network is that PEHP Summit Care exclusive network, and we will let Rick take it away here. So you like to clip in?
I'm going to clip in.
Okay, perfect.
This worked in the last meeting, so hopefully. Okay, everybody hears, can you hear me okay? All right. So my name's Rick. I'm with PEHP, and really grateful to be able to be of service to county employees. Really enjoy working with Jenica and her team and with Christy and GBS, and really enjoy that partnership that we have. Today I'm just going to briefly go over some of the basics of your plan offering and then talk about some unique things that PHP offers that you may not be aware of. So as Christy mentioned, you have the Summit Network as your option, and you pair that with one of two medical plans. There's a traditional plan and then the high deductible health plan or health savings account plan. The traditional plan has a $1,000 deductible for singles, $1,000 per person on a double, and then $2,000 on a family. Once you've met that deductible during your plan year, that's when the coinsurance kicks in. It's 80-20, so you pick up 20%. We're responsible for 80% of that. If you have a really expensive year and you meet your out-of-pocket maximum, the cap on that is $9,000 for the family, so you will not pay more than $9,000. It'll be covered at 100% by PEHP after that. $4,500 per person on the double plan, and then $4,500 for a single. High deductible plan works a little bit differently. You do have, just as the name suggests, you have a high deductible at $1,700 for a single and $3,400 for a double or family. And if you remember from last year, that has increased. That's not the county that increases that. That's the feds. That's the IRS that increases that based on inflation. Once you've met that deductible, it's actually very much like the traditional plan. It's an 80-20 cost share. So again, we pick up 80, you're responsible for 20. And then, but if you'll notice on the out-of-pocket maximum, on the high deductible plan, it's only $3,000 for a single and $6,000 for a family to meet that, to be covered at 100%. So the high deductible plans are great if you're a really healthy family, you're just going to build that HSA, or if you are not a healthy family and you go to the hospital a lot, you're going to meet that out-of-pocket maximum more quickly. So there's a couple ways to look at that. We'll talk about some of the comparisons between the two plans. So which plan is right for me? I just threw this together real quickly. It's not a fancy slide, but I just wanted to kind of put some thoughts into when comparing the two. The traditional plan typically has a higher monthly premium. You cannot contribute to an HSA on the traditional plan, but it is flex eligible. One thing about traditional plans is the plan we all grew up with. It's very predictable costs. You just have the copays. You have your lower upfront costs because you're paying more in premium, so it's almost like you're prepaying for that plan. And it's autopilot. If you don't really want to think about where you go, you just want to make that copay, you're on autopilot with this plan. It's easy. The high deductible health plan, they're newer. I made the switch about 10 years ago to a high deductible health plan. I have 4 kids. It's worked out really well. It does have a lower monthly premium. You benefit personally from savings on this plan because not only is the employer contributing to your health savings account, but you can contribute pre-tax into your HSA, and that really builds up, and it's something that you want to take with you into retirement. If you talk to any financial advisor, they're going to say, minimum 10% contribution to your 401k and max out your HSA plan if you can every single year, because that becomes a really, really nice offering to have that HSA available. And then you do have the lower out-of-pocket maximum, so you're going to hit that more quickly than you would on a traditional plan. Just doing I'm not a math guy, but I really struggle just to do this much math. So we're hoping that it's all right here. But I just did a quick comparison here of exposure. Exposure meaning what is your out-of-pocket cost of these plans? Well, if you're a 40-hour employee on a family plan and you've taken the wellness, if you take the out-of-pocket maximum, which on the traditional plan is $9,000, you're paying $260 out of every paycheck for a total of $3,120. That means your total exposure is $12,120 on the traditional plan. If you're on the high deductible plan, it's a $6,000 out-of-pocket maximum. You're spending less. You're spending $241 a month. So $2,895 is the cost of your premium for the year, but the county is giving you $2,400 as a family. And if you deduct that from the out-of-pocket maximum plus the premium, you're only at $64.95. So just close to half the amount of out-of-pocket exposure you have on that plan. So something to kind of think through if you're trying to decide if it's good for you to move to the HSA plan. And I will say that the contribution from the county is one of the more generous contributions that I've seen with the 90 or so groups that I work with. So it's a really, really nice benefit to have here. This is something that Christy also touched on, and this is the contribution limit set by the IRS each year. It goes up every year. Right now, it's starting in January. It'll be $4,400 for single, $8,750 for double and family. That's the most you can contribute to your HSA account unless you're over the age of 55. If you're over 55, you can contribute an extra $1,000 per year. And I mentioned the triple tax advantage. That comes in the form of pre-tax contributions that you can make, plus what the county gives you. That money that is contributed to your HSA, once you hit $2,000, you can invest that and you earn interest. And then finally, the distribution of that money for spending on qualified medical expenses is coming from pre-tax dollars. So you have a triple tax advantage using an HSA and being on a high deductible health plan.
You've got a question back here.
Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead.
It's just about the $8,750.
Yeah.
Is that including what the county gives us?
Yes.
So
It is total. Yep. Yeah,
so
but
we can't actually contribute 87. We can do.
so the county plus total amount of contribution, the county plus whatever you want to contribute, and then it rolls. It's not a use it or lose it. You keep that money year to year. You just need to make sure not to exceed that at the IRS. If they audit you, they will, you get taxed on that. So, good question. I just wanted to talk about some programs that PHP has in place that you may or may not have been aware of. This is we have a diabetic program where we offer Lispro, which is the generic form of Humalog at no cost. So you don't have to have met your deductible. Right now, if you go to you get the prescription for that, go to the pharmacy. You're gonna be able to pick that up at no cost. In addition, we've also, earlier this year, we added the Freestyle Libre CGMs to that, so you can go in and pick up the monitors at the pharmacy, also free of cost. We still cover the Dexcom CGM, but it is priced at a tier 3 level, so there'll be some costs associated with that. In addition to that, we have a pharmacy tourism program that's really unique to PEHP. This program allows you to cross the border outside of the U.S. to Canada or Mexico in order to pick up a 90-day supply of very, very expensive drugs. How this program works is if you are currently taking one of these 8, and we're adding to this list every year, but if you take one of these 8 drugs, you would have been contacted by our pharmacy. We will give you the option of going to Canada. Mexico will pay you $750. You can bring someone with you. We pay for your flight. We pick you up in San Diego. We drive you through the medical lane into Mexico, pick up your prescription, and drive you back, and then the flight. So it seems like a lot of money to be spent just to pick up a prescription, but you're talking that Avonex drug is MS drug. It's $9,000 in the U.S. It's $2,000 in Mexico. So there's a huge savings to be had by traveling across the border. We've had at least one drug company come back to us and say that they'll match the pricing that they're getting in Mexico. So that's really the result that we want. We want them to bring prices down. So that's why we offer this. It's not a vacation you want to take. It's a very expensive vacation. But this is an option that we throw out there. We've also partnered with Mark Cuban's company, Costly. Who knew Mark Cuban had a pharmaceutical company? Right? So we have right now 3 medications that we cover. You're auto-enrolled in this program if you're taking one of these, and basically how it works is PHP cuts you a check for the cost of those drugs on his website. If the price drops or is less, you keep the difference, and then we credit your deductible for what you paid for that. So just another way to help save money and put some more money in your pocket. I get a lot of questions. I kind of threw this in here because I get so many questions about GLP-1s for weight loss. PHP does not cover the cost of Ozempic or Mounjaro or Trulicity for weight loss. If you're a diabetic, yes. But they're very, very expensive. And a lot of people have moved to a compounded version of these particular drugs. They're very effective. And this is just this is an off-plan offering. This is just through our PHP Plus program where you can order through Orderly Meds. Prices start about $180 for a 30-day supply of injections that are similar to Mounjaro, and then it's shipped to you. But there's a lot of places, even in Cache Valley, there's several places you can go to that are probably a little bit cheaper than that if you're interested in GLP-1s for weight loss. Again, to be off-plan, you would need a prescription. So Brightside and Noble, a couple things that came out of COVID were a greater need for mental health assistance. But also the technology of doing things virtually really increased. It became much more effective. And companies like Brightside and Noble have popped up, and they're actually great options if you need virtual psychiatric consultations. Is Diane in this room? Diane Black? So I know that Diane's is right now getting therapy for her addiction to Netflix murder mysteries. She likes serial killer shows on Netflix, so yeah, so like many of us, right? Anyway, so you can start the process by going to Brightside, and this is included. Brightside is part of your mental health benefit, and so your normal copays would apply. But the beauty of this is you can get access within 48 hours, and typically it takes months to get hooked up with a therapist. Noble is a similar program, but it's more focused on family resources and parenting. So that's more of the direction you want to go. Noble is an awesome option for that as well. This is just a quick review of when you're looking for a place to go for a procedure or looking for a provider. Always think these things through. Is the service covered? Is the service in network? You're on the Summit network, which is fine as long as you're in rural areas. You can go pretty much anywhere. But once you get to the Wasatch Front, you need to stay within the Summit network, which is non-IHC facilities, right? So does it require a pre-authorization? And are there less expensive alternatives? And you can see that there are many alternatives when it comes to providers, the least expensive being Teladoc or eCare, all the way up to hospitals that are very, very expensive. A couple of eCare options that we use is Intermountain Connect Care and also the U of U Virtual Urgent Care. I think Connect Care is a little bit more available because they're year-round. They have a really nice app. They work with all the networks. You can use it out of state, except I learned it doesn't work in the state of Louisiana. My son was in Baton Rouge, got hurt. He was helping with hurricane cleanup, and we tried to use the Teladoc service with him in Louisiana. It does not work in the state of Louisiana, the only state in the country. It doesn't work. But everywhere else, on the traditional plan, it's just a $10 copay, and then the high deductible plan, it's $79, which will drop to $10 once you've met your deductible. If you were to call them and they needed to refer you, say you're just on the phone a few minutes with them, like, you know what, you really need to go to an Instacare, they're not going to charge you the fee. They'll just refer you. If you're on the phone with them for an hour and you come to that conclusion, they're probably going to charge you for their time. But it's still a very inexpensive option versus a standard office visit. Coverage, we do offer coverage outside of Utah. We don't intend this to be something where you're regularly leaving the state for annual exams or procedures that could be taken care of within Utah. This is for emergencies or urgent needs while you're traveling out of state. Maybe you have mission kids or college kids living out of state. This is something where that would be helpful to them. Basically, they can look up on our website providers in their area by zip code or city and state and see a list of providers that we would treat as in-network, even though they're out of Utah. So if you do have a dependent living out of state for an extended period of time, please let us know that so we can notate it in their accounts and know that they aren't seeking service out of state. For traveling and living abroad, if you're traveling out of the country, we do reimburse medical services up to the PHP's Utah rates. Again, we don't want you to, it'd be nice, we don't want you to fly to Italy to treat something. It's all about a travel, emergency situation, and we'll just you bring the bill back to us and then we reimburse you for that. This is just a quick review. If you haven't already set up your PEHP portal, I would highly suggest that you do that. There's a ton of great information on there. Everything from searching providers, finding facilities. You can compare medical costs, compare prescription costs, and then we have a new tool called the Cashback Map. Is anybody familiar with the Cashback program? If you're looking for virtually any kind of procedure, colonoscopy, hip replacement, knee replacement, anything less invasive than those things, you actually get anywhere from $50 to $2,000 in cash back by choosing a low-cost provider, and that's indicated by a little green telephone and $sign that's by the providers when you do these searches. This tool is just another layer that we added just to make it a little bit easier to try to find those those cashback options with the certain providers. If you do decide to use them, you just call PHP, let us know that you're going to be using this provider. We tell you how much cashback is available for that, and then you have 90 days to complete that. This is just some assistance if you are trying to set up your portal, or you're creating a new PHP account. You want to see your claims. You want to see what your accumulators are like on your deductible. Maybe you just want to print an ID card. Maybe it got lost or didn't get it in the mail. You can go to this php.org/new account, and there's all kinds of videos and PDF guides that you can print and view that will help you with that process. Wellness rebates. Has anybody participated in Healthy Utah rebates at all over the last few years? Okay, there's a few. So this is in addition to what the county offers. I think the county offers a subsidy to your premiums. This is in addition to that. If you just participate in the program, it takes about 15 minutes for a screening session, or you can take the form to your doctor and get it done there. You get $50, you and your benefit-eligible spouse. And then if you need to work on something, maybe you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and we want you to work on reducing that. Complete the first 6 rebate, and then you get an additional $50. We also offer $100 or more for diabetes management, and then also We Care, which is for expectant mothers. Those are all rebates that are out there and available to you. Once again, a reminder, preventative care is free, so annual physicals, flu shots and immunizations, mammograms, colon cancer screenings, annual eye exams. If you're on the high deductible plan, those are all available before you meet your deductible. Who knows the age what age are you eligible to get a preventative colonoscopy?
40.
Close. 45. 45. Yep. 45. So that was really close though. It used to be 55, I think, is what it used to be. But I can't just stress the importance of getting that done. It's not a fun thing, but I've just known too many people that have passed away from colon cancer and could have been prevented. So definitely something that you're going to want to take advantage of. Have that being 100% covered as preventative at age 45. And then, sorry, question?
Do you allow like Cologuard or Cologuard?
We do. The problem, I mean, they have they aren't always perfect, and they're less invasive for sure. And there's always a chance that they're going to come back with a false positive, and in that case, you're going to have to go through the process of an actual colonoscopy anyway. But yes, that is available. That is available. Medicare supplements, my final slide. I don't know if you know, we do offer Medicare supplement. We offer Parts D, dental, and vision plans. And you can find out more about that at our MedSup page. But one thing, if you're close to retirement, you're thinking about Medicare the next couple of years, or thinking about what the next steps are there, we do free virtual presentations every year. The next one is November 18th. I think it's the last one of the year, from 2 to 3 p.m. And it's something that you might want to look into, because there's some really great information on there. So I am available for questions. I'll just be at the table out here if you have anything you want to ask me. And thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry, I almost walked away. That would have been really embarrassing.
Especially when you walk out in the hall and they can still hear you talking. Thank you. So we just want to do kind of a quick review of the health savings accounts and then also the flexible spending accounts. So you got the HSAs and the FSAs. The health savings account is the type of account you would pair with that high deductible health plan. It is administered through Health Equity. Health savings accounts are governed by the IRS, and so there's a couple rules, of course, that they make sure that you go by in order to contribute those tax-free dollars to the health savings account. You've got to be at least 18 years of age, enrolled in a qualified high deductible health plan, which the plan here is considered qualified high deductible. You cannot be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return, and you cannot have other health coverage except by what is permitted by the IRS. So you've got to have a high deductible health plan. If you have double coverage, say with a spouse, that other plan also has to be a high deductible plan, okay, in order to get those tax-free savings into the HSA. But if you follow all those rules, awesome. HSA contributions, Rick mentioned, they did go up for 2026. So as a single, total amount you can put in there this year is $4,400, and as a two-party or family, it is $8,750. Now, each year, the IRS says you can put this much in there. There's never a max where it caps out for how much you roll over. So if you put, I think last year was $4,300. If you have $4,300 in there from last year, and then you put another $4,400 in there this year, great. Each year, you can put the total max in there. The other thing the IRS allows you to do is if you are 55 or older, they give you a catch-up contribution. You can put an additional $1,000 in there each year. The employer, Box Elder County, gives you a huge contribution. Like Rick said, I've got a bunch of groups. That's a huge contribution. I've got a ton of groups too, and this is probably the highest contribution I've seen of any of mine, including the private groups. So very big piece of money that they are putting into your HSA accounts for you. If you do want to max out those accounts at $4,400 or $8,750, you do need to consider all sources. So not only the money you're putting in there, but the money that the county is putting in there as well. As a total, you can't go over those amounts and keep getting that tax dollar incentive, okay? As I mentioned, we use health equity. Really nice thing about health equity is that it is integrated with PEHP. So when you have a claim that goes to the PEHP system, it will automatically go over to health equity. If you need to pay towards a deductible or put some money into it, you can go directly to Health Equity app. That claim will show up in that Health Equity app, and you can just simply hit pay that bill. It'll send it over. If you've got, I believe the amount is $2,500 in that account, you can invest the money just like you would a 401k and have it grow. The HSA account truly is the only mechanism I know where you get that triple tax advantage. So something to really think about. When you put money into this account, it goes in pre-tax. When you pull money out of it to pay for your medical, your dental, vision, things like that, again, you are not taxed. And if you do the investments, any growth that you make, again, you are not taxed on. So it's a really good thing to think about, good investment. It also stays with you. It is a savings account that you own. So if you ever retire, I talked to somebody who they are finally retiring after 30 years and they're going on Medicare. It goes with you. That money is yours. Not only the money you put in, but the money that the county has contributed as well. Okay? So really, really great deal. If you're not on that HSA, take a look at it. There's a lot of really good whistles and bells with it. If you are on the traditional plan, so the one with the flat copays, a little higher amount out of your paycheck, but more predictable costs, those flat copays, we would encourage you to use the flexible spending account. It runs just like that high deductible health plan and an HSA, but this one is for the traditional plan, the FSA. We have lots of acronyms. This is another way to put money into this account pre-tax, so to enjoy those tax savings on things, again, medical, dental, vision, all of those things that you know you're going to have those expenses through the year, but at least you can save those tax dollars on it. How the flexible spending account works is that it will it preloads for you. So say you kind of do the math and go, you know, I spend with prescriptions or doctor office visits, whatever, $2,000 a year. I'm going to put $2,000 into this account for 2026. Awesome. January 1, you will have $2,000 in that account to spend, and then simply you pay it through the rest of the year, but you have it front loaded for you. You will get a debit card where you can simply just swipe it at that point of sale. If you get a prescription, you just swipe your card and it come right out of that account for you. Really cool. The thing about flexible spending accounts, though, is that this type of plan does have that use it or lose it rule you've probably heard of before. So if you are not able to use all the money that you've put aside in there with that pre-tax savings, you do run the risk of losing it. So be conservative. Don't dump a bunch of money in there if you really don't have any medical expenses or you don't have a huge dental expense or something coming up, because you do run the risk of losing it. So just be really careful with that flexible spending account. You've got a couple different options for flexible spending. I mentioned the healthcare FSA. If you are on that traditional option with the flat copays, this allows you to put in $3,400 annually to use towards those expenses. And again, it is a front-loaded amount. You pay yourself back through the rest of the year. You can use it for not only medical, but dental and vision, okay? If you are on the high deductible and you do the HSA, they do have a special type of account called a limited purpose flexible spending account, which allows you to put money in to use just for dental and vision. So if you know, oh, I've got to get a crown, or I need glasses or LASIK vision eye surgery or something like that, instead of using your HSA dollars, you can keep that money, put money into a flexible spending account instead, the limited purpose, and use it just for the dental and vision. So another good way, you can kind of play with the numbers a little bit, but another great way to save those tax dollars. Everybody can contribute and use the dependent care reimbursement. This is if you have children that you're paying daycare for, childcare in the day, so you work. Even think elder care, if you're taking care of a parent or somebody that needs to be watched during the daytime, you need to pay for that care while you go to work. The government allows you, again, to put money into an account with those pre-tax savings to pay and reimburse yourself for those expenses. One thing really good is the IRS finally raised the limit on this. Since 1986, the limit has been $5,000 you can put into this account. They finally raised it, so for 2026, you can put $7,500 in this account. If any of you are paying for daycare, you know how expensive it is, so a good way to put money aside, again, that pre-tax dollar to reimburse yourself for that daycare through the year. Okay? These are all done through NBS or National Benefit Services. They also have a mobile app. Every single one of the carriers have a mobile app. So make sure you load them all. You have all your information in one place. What's great is, again, you can pay your claims online. If you need to see your balance information, you can get your benefits card information on there. They've got a customer service chat right through the phone, too. So NBS, great plan as well. Yeah.
Sorry, on that daycare,
Uh-huh.
it said $37.50 max. What's the second one for, depending on tax filing status?
So it's $7,500 total, depending on your tax filing status. So you can do $3,750. A spouse could do $3,750 too. It depends on how you file. So if you file like together, then it's $7,500 max. But if you file like married file separately, then you can do $3,750 and they can do $3,750. Does that make sense? IRS rules, you know, I don't even think anyone's working there anymore or auditing, so do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Did I say that? I shouldn't have said that.
They are working there.
Somebody's there. Okay. All right, with that, we're going to shift to dental. We've got Summer here from Delta Dental. We mentioned that we did make some changes. There are a lot of enhancements to this plan. We think you'll really like it, so we will let you explain it.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Summer with Delta Dental. Thank you guys for having me today. I just want to go over a little bit about your new dental plan. We're very excited to be on board. And like Christy mentioned, there's a significant number of enhancements. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time today going over your plan, what those enhancements are, and then a little bit about the network and making sure that your provider is contracted with Delta Dental. So first, we're going to talk about the plan design. And you kind of have to shift gears a little bit from how you think about dental is a little different than how you think about medical. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about the deductible. You have a $25.75 deductible, $25 individual, not to exceed more than $75. So if you have 5 people in your family, what's the maximum payout you'll pay for a deductible? 75. Yep, absolutely. The deductible does not apply, meaning you do not have to pay the deductible for diagnostic and preventative services like your cleanings, exams, and x-rays. And it also does not apply toward orthodontic care as well. And so like I just mentioned, diagnostic and preventative, or we call D&P, are those exams, cleanings, x-rays, sealants, and space maintainers that you get. So those cleanings, exam, and x-rays, the cleanings and exams you can get twice per year, which is different than every 6 months. So you don't have to have that cadence if you're standing there at the dentist office and they're like, well, 6 months from today is this day. When do you want to come in? Just know that you can schedule 2 throughout the year at any point in time. So if it makes more sense to like schedule around a holiday or spring break or a vacation, you have some flexibility there. If you visit a PPO or Premier provider or in-network providers, you have those paid at 100%, meaning that you'll walk out without having to pay a dime. And I say that just because preventative care in oral health care is just so important. So definitely take advantage of this benefit or if you're electing dental insurance, just because it's there for you. And it's just, again, it's a gateway of being able to prevent other major expenses down the line. All of your basic services are covered at 80%. And so one of the most common basic services is the filling. And so posterior composite fillings are covered, those white fillings in the back. But fillings are covered at 80%, as well as other common services like endodontic, root canals, periodontics, oral surgery, so tooth extractions, wisdom teeth fall into this bucket. And all of those are covered at 80% after deductible. So you'll first have to pay your deductible, and then the plan pays 80%, and then you would be responsible for 20%. For major services, an enhancement here is that the coinsurance is increased from 50% in network to 70%. So again, the county is taking on a substantial portion of those costs for those major services. So crowns, dentures, implants, those all fall within major services. The things that none of us want to have, but if we do, you have excellent coverage there for them. The plan pays no more than $2,000 per member each calendar year. And again, this is, I want to call it, is also an additional enhancement. In the past, you've had, or currently you have a $1,200 calendar year maximum, but you have this complicated rollover structure that's also involved with your plan. So we took that into consideration that several of you in this room are likely have more than a $1,200 benefit, and we didn't want to take that away from anyone, but we wanted to enhance the benefit for everyone. So everybody come 1/1/26 has a $2,000 calendar year maximum. And what that means, which is kind of the opposite of medical, that the plan pays out the first $2,000, right? And so it will pay no more than $2,000 towards your dental care per member each calendar year.
When you say member, is that individual family?
Each individual person on the plan, yes, sir.
So let's say you go get a dental implant.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, they're like, what,
Yeah.
$5,000?
$6,000 probably, yeah. Yeah, so dental is a great question. So dental implant, you can be a little strategic with a dental implant, especially around an effective, like a reset. So your reset is 1/1, and an implant is a 2-part billing process. It's where they'll do the extraction and put the post in. That's the first portion that gets billed. And then the second portion that gets billed, that's done by an oral surgeon. The second portion is done by a general dentist, and it's the crown that goes on over the top, the overlay. And that's usually has to happen 6 weeks to 12 weeks later to allow for the healing. And so that's the second portion of the billing. So ideally, right, you can be strategic and get one done pre-1/1 and then another, and then the second portion of the implant benefit after the 1/1. So you have a fresh calendar reset to maximize your benefit.
Yeah, so like, and I guess the question, so you got a dental implant and it covers 70%. Well, an implant, $6,000, that's $4,200. You really don't cover 70%.
We don't, not on an implant. I mean, we cover up to 70% of a calendar year maximum. The plan will pay out no more than $2,000. So an implant is just an inexpensive procedure.
If you have cavity, you foot the entire bill because you hit your max.
Correct. Yep. So you do have the benefit, though, still exists, that you have access to the fee schedule. So you have access to a negotiated discount on those other services. But yeah, the plan will only pay out up to $2,000 for all of your services. And then orthodontia. So orthodontia is for dependent children, and another enhancement there is currently it pays for ortho to children to age 19, and we have increased that age now to 26. And so if you have a 22-year-old child dependent at home that is still interested in getting braces or Invisalign, which is also covered, know that they're now eligible for orthodontia care. We will make you whole on your orthodontic benefits. If you have a child dependent in treatment currently, you just let your dentist know that you've moved to Delta Dental come 1/1, and they know how to make sure that the plan continues, or they will continue to receive payments from the plan. So again, just let them know. They know how to take over from there. Any other questions on the benefit plan design before I move on about networks? Yeah.
For the major services, it says a 12-month.
Correct. It's a typo in your book. So there are no, we also removed any of the waiting periods. So we're going to get that corrected, I think, for online. But this, and then there's a sheet out at the table too, if you want a corrected copy without the waiting period. Yep, another great enhancement that you reminded that we did as well. Any other questions thus far? Okay. So we talked about you saw on that previous screen, the PPO and the Premier Network, and you're like, oh, what's the difference? But you guys have access to both. Just the PPO network is where you're going to have the most savings. That's where the bulk of our providers are PPO providers, and we've negotiated a deeper discount with those providers. So for example, for that implant, an oral surgeon that is PPO versus Premier, you're going to pay a lot less out of pocket. You're still going to pay some out of pocket, but it will just, the starting point, instead of maybe $4,000 is going to be $3,000. And so 70% of $3,000 is obviously less than 70% of $4,000. And so trying to find a PPO provider definitely will save you money. If not, and your provider is Premier, that's okay too. You still get the same member protections of seeing a contracted provider and not being balance billed, having to pay extra out of pocket than going to a non-participating provider. If you have questions, if your provider is or is not in network, you can simply ask them. And the question is, are you contracted with Delta? Not, do you take Delta? Because everybody will be like, yeah, we take insurance. You just want to ensure that they're contracted with Delta Dental. We'll also talk about some of our web tools too that you can look up your provider and see if they're in network. So once we do receive your open enrollment information, I don't want anybody today to try to set up an online account because we don't know who you are. But once we do receive your open enrollment information and load it into our system, probably about 2 weeks after your open enrollment closes, but definitely by 1/1, you'll be able to sign in to create an online account where you'll use your name, your date of birth, and your social security number. We never print your social security or provide that outbound, but it is an indicator internally to be able to look up your record either online or by calling our customer service team. And then online, you'll be able to print, download, or email your ID card. You'll be able to see cost estimates of different procedures. You'll be able to just have your plan details and see, like, have I had 1 or 2 cleanings this year? I can't remember. Outside of the login screen, and something you guys have access to today, is a provider search function. So you can search by network. Just if you're like, I only want to find the PPO providers, you can search by PPO, or you can do a combined search with PPO and Premier. You can search by zip code. You can search by language. There's a lot of different elements that you can search by to be able to see who is not, well, who is in network. We don't list who isn't in network, but who is in network. 82% of the providers in Utah are contracted with Delta Dental, and like I mentioned, most are PPO. So close to 80% of those are PPO with Delta Dental here in Utah. So just a quick picture of our mobile app. If you go to the Apple Store or in your Android and you see a Delta Dental logo, it's this green logo in the bottom right-hand corner, you found the right app. There may be a couple of them. They're all the same landing page, so just download any single one of them. And again, you'll just create your account post-effective date using your name, date of birth, and social. There's also, as I mentioned, a cost estimator tool, and just for transparency purposes, if you just are curious, like, hey, how much is this implant going to cost me at a PPO provider versus a non-participating provider? Because I really like this guy, but they're not in network with Delta. What should I expect to pay, and what's that difference? Know that there's a tool available to you, and you can just simply select a procedure. If you have the procedure code, we can be a lot more specific, but we also have layman terms where you can just choose the procedure that you think you might have or you've been told that you need to be able to get an estimate in your cost. If you don't have a dentist and you're interested in finding a dentist, there's integrated Yelp reviews as well as a DentaQual score on our website. And so if you visit through the web browser, you visit our website to find a provider, you'll see that there's some additional information to help guide you in your search if you're someone that likes Yelp, or if you find those opinions to be somewhat trustworthy. But DentaQual is really important because it is a clinical criteria score that a third party has assigned all of our contracted providers. And then all of our members, too, have access to a third cleaning during pregnancy in partnership with the American Dental Association. We've identified that higher inflammation in our oral cavity can lead to preterm birth. So all of our pregnant members, we suggest having that extra cleaning, and that's embedded in your plan as well. And then there's member perks for all of our Delta Dental members. The one I want to call out first is virtual dentistry. And this is just a great option for either somebody that doesn't have a relationship with a dentist and just has a dental question, like, ugh, this is going on in my mouth. Should I really go into an office? Or, can you tell me, a little bit about what to expect if I were to go into a dentist? Or two, you're traveling and like a crown falls off and you don't know what to do with your crown. Or you have an infected tooth and it really hurts and you need to get an antibiotic. Maybe it's a parent with a child that falls and has a dental incident and you just want to ask a couple of questions to find out, how urgent do you need to go into an office. And so that teledentistry.com is our partner there, and you can find more information on our landing page. You also have a hearing aid discount and a LASIK discount, and there's other perks there as well that we're constantly updating and improving. And so, again, it's on the landing page. Once you go into your account, you'll see all of your extra benefits to your plan there.
Did you say hearing aid discount?
I did, yep. And it's probably the only place in, right, it's probably the only place in your benefit package that you're going to find a hearing aid benefit.
So you want a nice smile and you want to hear people compliment.
Absolutely. Compliment on your pretty smile. Yep, absolutely. Any other questions for me? And I'll be outside too if you have any one-off questions or scenarios you want to run past me. Thank you, guys.
And you did mention in the book that it says there's a waiting period. Total, not a waiting period. You're good to go right out of the chute. Okay, so next up we've got vision. We have Jill from EMI here to tell you about your vision plan. Not a lot of changes, actually no changes to your vision plan at all. So we'll have her go through this. Make sure you keep your, keep it close.
Okay, like she said, there was no changes to vision, so this will just really be an overview to remind you of what you have. So you guys have the VSP 130 plan. It's a hardware only, so you'll get the eye exam through your medical benefit. And this is mostly for glasses or contacts. So you get $130 for frames or contacts per year. If you go to Costco, Sam's Clubs, or Walmart, it's only a $70 benefit. If you want LASIK, we offer $500 in savings. And then if you get more than one pair of glasses or you do glasses and contacts in 1 year, you'll only get a discount on the second pair of glasses or the glasses and then a discount on contacts if you do it in 1 year. This is an overview of the benefits. So for lenses, it's a $10 copay. For lens options like Progressive, it's a $0 copay. For coatings, depending on what type you get, the copays range from $16 to $41. And then, as you can see, contacts is that $130 allowance. If you go out of network, it's less of a benefit. So for lenses, it's between $30 to $100 depending on the type of vision you have. So there's single, bifocal, trifocal. For Progressive, it's lenses, it's only up to $50 benefit, and then for contacts, it's up to $115. There's a couple ways you can find a provider that's in network. You can go to emihealth.com and hit find a provider, and then go ahead and hit the vision tab, select the VSP network, and then enter your zip code to find them near you. Or you can go directly to vsp.com and search there for a provider, or there's a QR code here, or there's their number, and you can call and talk to someone and they can help you find a provider. I do have a flyer out there on the table that has that QR code and that phone number for VSP. And then if you're ever having any problems with anything regarding vision, we do have a customer service line that you can call and we can help you out. We are located in Utah, so we're close and you can get the help you need. And that's all I have for vision. So unless anyone has any questions, yeah, go ahead.
Can we buy them online and submit an invoice for out of network?
Yeah, perfect. And when you do submit that, you'll fill out a claim form and make sure you attach the receipt as well. Perfect.
That's a good question. Thank you. Just so everyone heard that, he asked if you buy glasses online or something online, can you send it in as out of network? Yes, you can, and get reimbursed for those up to those amounts that she showed. So great question. Okay, life and disability. So your life and AD&D coverage is through the Hartford. Voluntary or supplemental life is also through the Hartford, and then the short-term disability policy is now through the Hartford. We're putting it all in the same place. Life and accidental death and dismemberment. Just so you know, the county pays for a basic life and accidental death and dismemberment policy on your behalf. It's for full-time employees. You are covered for $25,000 for life insurance and then $50,000 for accidental death and dismemberment. Your legal spouse is covered for $10,000, and then each dependent child has a $2,000 policy. This is just a reminder that you've got this paid for by the county, but also a good reminder to make sure your beneficiaries are up to date. Always a good thing to review it every single year if something were to happen to you, that the money goes to the correct person to take care of anything on your behalf. So when you go through UKG, just make sure it's who you want it to go to. If you do need to make changes, just get with Jenica or Mariana or Diane from the county, and they can help you with that. If you're interested in more than just the basic life policy, there is the voluntary life policy, also through the Hartford. What's great about this is you're buying it, think in bulk. You're buying it as the entire county, so they're giving you a group discount. It is a term life policy, and they are all premium payroll deducted, so it makes it pretty slick. For an employee, you can get up to $600,000, pardon me. For a spouse, it's $250,000, but you cannot get any more on the spouse than you would on yourself. And then each dependent child is covered at $10,000. One thing to remember on children is that it's the same rate whether you have one child on the plan or multiple children. You just pay the same rate, and it covers them all each at that $10,000 policy. If you are interested in this, again, on the UKG system, it will show you exactly what the rate is, depending on how much you want to do. If you do need to fill out an evidence of insurability form, there's a link on there as well. Those are the medical questions. So if you go over a certain amount of money, then they do want to do medical exams on you. So just as a reminder there. Short-term disability and long-term disability. So think of these two plans as paycheck insurance. If something were to happen to you in the case of an illness or an accident or a surgery or something like that, and you cannot work, your paycheck may stop coming in, but those bills, of course, keep rolling in the door. Your mortgage, your rent, your groceries, those types of things. So this is really income insurance on your paycheck. For short-term disability, this is an employee-paid policy. Again, it is through the Hartford. So if you elect this, you get paid 60% of your weekly earnings, up to $2,000 a week. There is a 14-day elimination period on this. So the 15th day of that illness or injury is when this will start to pay. And then it is a maximum benefit of up to 11 weeks, okay? If you, after that 11 weeks expired, still cannot come back to work, maybe you've had something more extreme happen and you can't come back, there is a long-term policy through PEHP that is 100% employer paid. This plan pays 65% of your monthly salary. There's no cap on that, so whatever your salary is, it'll pay 65% of that. The elimination period on this is 90 days, so it'll pay on day 91, but that short-term disability policy basically satisfies that 90 days for you. And then if you cannot come back to work, the long-term disability policy will go until your normal Social Security retirement age or you retire out of the URS system, okay? So again, paycheck insurance, it's always good to make sure you've got some money coming in the door just in case. You never know what's going to happen. So take a look at especially the short-term policy. You do get the long-term policy automatically. All right, so we've got a lot of really cool supplemental benefits. Again, we moved to Sun Life on these. We've got accident, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and the cancer plan. Enhancements to these and even rate reductions on a lot of these. So we're going to have Melissa talk about those, and we'll go to that point. She's going to file an accident claim on this finger that we're pretty sure is broken. So she's a great example right there.
I was playing basketball, women's rec league, you know, things get crazy. Think I broke my finger. So that's when this type of plan would come into play. So like Christy mentioned, these supplemental plans, they're meant to bridge the gap of any gaps that you would have with your medical plan. Obviously, if any of these things happen to you, you're going to have some expenses associated with that. So we want to make sure that you have some good plans in place. We shopped the plans because they are 100% paid by you. We wanted to make sure that the rates were competitive, affordable, and that the payouts were high. So we were able to make some pretty good enhancements in our move to Sun Life. So we'll dig into it. First plan we're going to talk about is that accident plan. So it gives you a cash benefit if you experience a qualified off-the-job accident. It's going to pay for things like dislocations and fractures, emergency room services, hospitalizations, burns, lacerations, x-rays. There's a dollar amount associated with each of those, and they're going to pay you out according to your treatment and your injury. So things that would be eligible on your accident plan, something like falling down the stairs, tripping over a dog, breaking an ankle playing soccer, yes, all things you would file on your accident claim. You're going to go seek care, use your medical insurance like you normally would, and then after the fact, you would file that claim with Sun Life. So things that are unfortunate but not covered on your accident plan, something like kidney stones, appendix removal, or an ER visit for stomach pain. So Maddie crashes her bike and is taken via ambulance to the hospital where she learns she has fractured her collarbone. So these are the exact payouts on the Sun Life plan. Emergency room 300, ambulance 300, x-ray 200, collarbone 1,000, follow-up visit 75. So going to get a total benefit from Sun Life of $1,875 that she can use to pay her medical expenses, or she can buy a new bike. Sun Life's just going to send you the funds. The awesome thing about this plan is it has a wellness benefit. So if you go and do those things that Rick was talking about earlier, the lipid panel where they test your cholesterol, mammogram, colonoscopy, immunizations, anything like that, and you submit that to Sun Life and say, hey, I did my wellness visit, they're going to give you $150 per person per year. That pretty much pays for your premiums. Down here is the old rates. If we can see that, no, okay. Box at the bottom is going to be the Transamerica rates just for comparison. As you can see, we lowered them across the board. So these are your new rates up here. What we did is we annualized the total premium and then took into account if you're going and doing your wellness visit. So for employee only, you're getting the $150, adjusting your monthly premium to $207. This is a family of 4 at the bottom. Everyone goes and does their wellness visit. You're making $20 a month from Sun Life if you're diligent about filing that each year. So for all of the tiers except employee only, you can actually make money on this plan as long as you're going and doing those wellness visits. So we were pretty happy about lowering the rates and then enhancing a lot of those payouts. Next plan you can participate in is that critical illness plan. Gives you a lump sum benefit if you're diagnosed with one of the covered critical illnesses. This plan also has a wellness benefit, and there are new issue age rates that are much lower than the Transamerica plan. So those will lock in at whatever age you are right now and won't increase, which is great. You get to choose a $10,000 to $40,000 benefit in $10,000 increments, and then you can choose to cover your spouse and your dependent children at 50% of the amount that you elect. All of those rates are going to be built into UKG for you, so you can see what those look like. These are all the covered critical illnesses on your plan. You get those major things that you see: heart attack, cancer, stroke, major organ failure, all covered at 100%. So it would be either the, whatever amount you elect, the 10 to 40,000. Then there are a couple other conditions covered at lesser percentages over here. So David has a $20,000 critical illness policy. He suffered a heart attack on June 1st. Going to file that claim with Sun Life and get $20,000 for that plan. Also has a wellness benefit of $150. So goes and does the wellness screening, enrolled in accident and critical illness, going to get a payout for both plans. Next plan is the hospital indemnity plan. We were able to completely match the benefits across the board, but then add a wellness benefit. So the rates are staying the same, but now you have a $150 wellness benefit. So this plan gives you a cash payout if you're admitted to the hospital. No pre-existing condition waiting period, no maternity waiting period. A lot of folks like to use this if they're in the family planning stages of life. If you know a baby's on the way, this is a guaranteed payout for you. And then has that $150 wellness as well. $1,000 per admission, $100 per day kicking in on day 2. And then there's a newborn nursery confinement of $100 per day up to 3 days as well. So Eric's daughter is covered on his hospital plan. She contracts pneumonia and is hospitalized for 3 days. Going to get a $1,200 payout for that. Once again, broken record, $150 wellness benefit on this plan. The hospital plan, for some reason, has a few other health screenings that the other 2 plans don't cover, like a dental exam. So it's a little bit easier to get that one on the hospital plan, but a lot of the same screenings are going to be eligible for this one as well. And then, like I said, we matched the Transamerica rates, so rates aren't increasing, but now you do have that wellness benefit. Last plan through Sun Life is the cancer plan. It's a standalone cancer plan that just gives you a payout for diagnosis and treatment if you're diagnosed with cancer. So There's a schedule of benefits that gives you that $5,000 initial diagnosis and then payouts along the way for treatment. As you can see, radiation and chemotherapy up to $1,000 a week, bone marrow stem cell transplant. So depending on, your diagnosis and the treatment that you're going through, there's going to be a payout for whatever it is that you need. You'll file those claims with Sun Life along the way. Barbara was diagnosed with invasive cancer. She had elected the plan and was able to file a claim. So $5,000 for the initial diagnosis. She had a hospital confinement, $1,200, and then some medical imaging. So $6,300 from Sun Life. Any questions about any of those new Sun Life plans? Like I said, they'll all be built into UKG. We were excited about enhancing some of those benefits and lowering the rates. So we think they're really good plans for you. Last couple plans I'm going to talk about is a legal plan and an ID theft plan. These have been in place for a bit, so just a reminder that you still have access to them through Legal Shield. You can enroll in the legal plan, helps cover anything that you might need an attorney for, like having an attorney, best friend, that you can just call up and help you with contracts, buying a home, selling a home, speeding tickets. Maybe you have a friend that can help you with a speeding ticket, who knows. But will preparations, so some of those like estate things, they can help you with that for a low monthly rate. And then it also has an ID theft plan that you can enroll in to make sure that you are protected online. So full ID theft, going to monitor your social security number, let you know if anybody tries to open an account. They'll step in and help you get that all taken care of. They have a full service restoration team, so know that that's available to you as well. And then I will pass it off.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Brummett Thomas. So I work at Blomquist Hale. I'm a therapist, and I also manage 3 of our locations, the Ogden, Logan, and Farmington locations. I am your guys' county contact whenever you guys have questions or concerns about our benefit. So Blomquist Hale is an EAP. It's free counseling. So it is 100% free. You are not charged any time. Your insurance is not charged any time. It's all paid for by the county. Even though they're paying for it, they don't get a bill for me saying I saw you. They don't get to know who I see, what I see people for. They don't get to see your records or notes at any time. All they get is every quarter, I send them a report that says, this is how many employees and this is how many dependents we saw this quarter. And that's just for billing purposes. They don't get to know anything else. I see families, I see couples, I see kids. We kind of cover your entire household. We define that as who lives under your roof. So that could be spouse, that could be girlfriend, boyfriend, that could be that nephew staying with you over the summer. That's your children. Could be your grandparent or parent, whoever's under your roof, and children under the age of 26 outside your roof. So if your kid's away at college and they're under 26, yes, they still have the benefit. If your kid is 30 living under your roof, they probably need counseling, but they have the benefit. So that's how that works, and that's how we define your household. We are all licensed counselors. We're all qualified to diagnose. We're qualified to assess and treat mental health issues, but you do not need to have a mental health issue to see us. People come for all kinds of reasons, and we have the general policy of don't turn anyone away, see what we can do. Sometimes I have folk coming in for couples counseling, financial counseling. Sometimes that's budgeting, particularly with couples. Sometimes it's shopping addiction for all those Amazon packages that arrive at your house and you don't remember ordering those. Sometimes it's substance abuse counseling. Sometimes it's our senior planning program. So that's coming up with services and resources for yourself as a senior or for your family member maybe that you're caring about. It doesn't have to be someone local. Sometimes I'm pulling up resources for Chicago, Illinois. Sometimes Lima, Peru. That one's a little harder, I'll admit, but we're trying to find those services and hook people up to those services. We have office appointments, we have video appointments, we have phone appointments. Just depends on what works for you. We do have appointments in the morning. We do have appointments in the evening. They are the most popular, though. All of our counselors are here to help. That's kind of what we're here to do. We're not here to upsell you or anything like that. If you do need something, More than what we do, we help you figure out where to get it. I had someone come in a couple weeks ago saying, I have a brother-in-law that needs detox. Now, he didn't even live in the home, but they were desperate for help. So I said, okay, give me your insurance. Let's figure this out. So I looked at the brother-in-law's insurance, made a few phone calls, figured out what place was good, who took that insurance, found him a bed. That's kind of our goal, is to try to take care of all the people we serve as best we can and their families. We do have a special first responder program that is all therapists with extra training on treating first responders and their families. So that's ever something that your family can benefit from, just let us know. Anyone have any questions for me? Nope, cool.
Just, oh, there's a little tiny like riser right here, and I totally almost just wiped out on it. So the EAP, want to emphasize, great program. It is paid for by the county. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing out of your paycheck. If you use the services, you don't pay a copay for it. Nothing. 100% confidential as well. So really, really good resource. She's got tons of information out there on her table, as well as little business cards. I actually have one of the business cards taped to my fridge, so if one of my teenagers needs to talk to someone, you know how sometimes they won't talk to you, but they need somebody, it's a resource 24/7. So good program. Again, if you need it, take advantage of it. All right, we are almost done. Just want to reemphasize the wellness program. You have a great program here through the county. It's a well-being program where you can earn points and actually reimbursements back from not only the county but the insurance companies for doing those wellness activities. The other great thing, why should I participate, is you get money back on your insurance. You save $47 a month on the medical insurance premium discount alone. And of course, improve your health and your well-being. Lots of different ways you can participate, lots of different options for you and your family members. What is required is you need to earn those points. So you need to earn 8 points between January and June 30th, first 6 months of the year. And then another 8 points July 1st through December 31st. Couple examples of that is if you go online to PHP's health risk assessment, that's worth 1 point. If you go to one of those biometric screenings, the Healthy Utah, like Rick talked about, you even get your CDL exam. Take the CDL exam, that's a point. With that, you can earn money. You can earn money back from PEHP, those wellness rebates, or Box Elder County. So lots of great ways to make some money. I know this is a busy slide, probably hard to read. This is all in the booklet, but just some different things, different ways you can earn money using the Navati app that is available to you, using the My Wellness Tracker through PEHP, even filling out a monthly nutrition log that you submit to Human Resources. If you do any kind of coaching program through PEHP or Blomquist Hale or even Navati, if you take the Sheriff's Office PT exam and you pass it, then you can get points. But anyone can participate. You do a county, you go to a county party, you run the 5K, all sorts of ways that you can earn these points. And the points vary by each program that you do. So yeah, Human Resources, again, their website has got all the information more detailed, let you know where you can earn those points. But really, really good program. I want to make sure we do a shout out and reminder of that. Again, there's more information in the booklet. And that is it. So just as a last reminder, we went through a ton of options, a couple changes. Want to make sure you consider the right benefit options for you and your family. Maybe you need to take the booklet home, discuss it with people in your family. That is great. You've got plenty of time to do it. Like I said, you need to make sure you enroll in the UKG system by November 21st, but it is open today. If you want to make those elections today, you can do that. It is an active enrollment, so you do actually need to go in and re-enroll in those plans. It won't just roll over. You need to make sure you make those elections. As I reminded you, make sure you update those beneficiaries on life insurance, and if you are on the health savings account, you want to make sure you establish a beneficiary for that account as well. If something happens, that money doesn't just disappear. So make sure you update your beneficiaries. If you switch the medical plans, you'll get a new ID card. So if you move from the high deductible plan to the copay plan, you will get a new ID card. And then if you elect either the flexible spending account or you move to the high deductible and get the HSA, you will get a new debit card in the mail as well. Okay? Any questions? There's tons of propaganda we can give you outside, swag, whatever you need, but we really appreciate you coming today. And if you have any questions, come talk to us afterwards. All of our information is in the front page of that booklet. All of our phone numbers, everybody, easy ways to contact us, and your human resources is always a great resource as well. Okay, thanks everybody, appreciate your time.